find a team fight that they want to take. So that's why they got picked off, I think. They try to push their limits to get out of the map and try to take a team.
Certainly gave some space for Alchemist to farm, but it wasn't quite enough. And at this point, teams have let us know that they are ready for game number 2. It's going to be LFY, currently leading 1-0 against TNC. Will TNC make the comeback and tie it up, or will LFY close it out? Let's find out.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Talk a little bit more about that Night Stalker Furion opening from LFY. The more I think about it, the more I like it. They're able to split push while also reducing the vision of TNC, which made them feel like they needed to spread out and handle the lanes. But when they spread out, that's when Night Stalker used his vision advantage to find some opportune kills.
Oh, that's a great point, yeah. Almost encouraging them to have to respond in the way where Night Stalker would be strong.
Exactly. It's, you know, hey, are you going to let us split push all day, or are you going to try and combat us?
TNC starts off right away saying, you know what, Night Stalker was a pain in the ass last game, insta-bat rider, and oh, I love a faceless void in any game.
This is a good combo to start with, as we've been talking about before. Void really lacks damage in the chrono, and A can really help him with that throughout the whole map.
LFY picking up some combinations. I think that Night Stalker Furion is something that we need to look out from them in the future, and now Void A being an alternate opener for them. Void is a hero that actually lanes pretty decently against Batrider compared to most. He's got the leap to get away, and also you can use time dilation if you skill it early enough in lane to stop Batrider from stacking the sticky napalms on top of you.
Also a good Lincoln's carrier. We see Naga openers a lot. I think we've seen 3 Nagas in the first phase, but however, it hasn't been versus Faceless Void. And I think this is really where the hero does shine, is counter-initiating against the Chronosphere.
I think we've seen it once, and yeah, it was super good that game, so I can really see it work this game as well. He just needs to stay behind and make sure that he can get the sleep off whenever Void uses his ultimate.
And Faceless Void we've seen run in the 1 position, the hard carry position for several teams. Do you think that this is more of how he's balanced around, or do you think that he's still a perfectly capable offlaner in the current meta?
I saw Empire Resolution played. I think that Void can be one of the hardest carries in the game in the late game due to his bash mechanics and his large agility game. But he's a very versatile hero, which makes him a great first pick in first phase. So I think you just have to wait and see where the game goes and decide whether or not you really want to put Void in that one.
TNC's turn to bat. LFY's
I think it fits Resolution's style more as a player for him to play that as a 1. He generally plays these incredibly hard carries, more so than other players.
Yeah. In terms of the bans, we see increasingly the same consistent set of 5 heroes, just never to be seen upon the main stage. Nyx Assassin, Lich, Night Stalker, Earthshaker, and Batrider, very frequently banned. We will see Batrider this game. Phantom Lancer also chucked out by LFY.
Yeah, TNC really, we saw at the end of that last game, LFY was focusing on bursting down the Naga before that sleep came out. So banning out the Shaker is going to prevent him from being bursted. Protecting your Naga so that way you can always get off to sleep and set you guys up for the fight is what they will.
In this draft from LFY, I don't really think it has a good potential to end the game in 15 or 20. So TNC, I don't think have to worry about some super heavy push like they did have to last game with the Furion opener. TNC can go for something a little bit slower. I think something like Tinker that Kuku has played is pretty good versus this type of lineup. You want a blink hero that can get out, and a lot of his counters are already taken on Night Stalker.
TNC has played Tinker this tournament, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the heroes they do like. I like the idea of them focusing more on the split push style and having vision from the Naga illusions spread out throughout the map, have some Firefly vision as well to keep track of this Void. Being able to find Void and either stay away from him or be prepared for that Chronosphere coming in, having your Naga in the opportune position to sleep after that Chronosphere is going to be a huge key for them.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Of course, for anyone listening at home, Furion is an alternative name for Nature's Prophet, was the same heroes.
Sorry, Dota 1.
Oh yes, so yes, same way that Wisp is another name for Io. And of course, when I first started playing Nature's Prophet, people were saying, "Who's this idiot Fur?" And I was like, "Well, that's not my name, so I'm totally clear. I don't know who the idiot Fur is, but probably a tough guy to have on the team."
Got the counter to bat here now. Can go with this X mark.
Yes. Your teammate gets lassoed, you X your teammate, and slurp him right back out of that lasso.
What's the range on X marks the spot and Naga sleep. You, is it like,
Naga's 1,000, 1,400, 1,800. The
5
radius.
seconds remaining.
Kunkka, I'm not exactly.
you get Aetherlands on Kunkka, can you X people while they're TPing? Some sleep?
I think
Very
so.
likely.
Yeah. Even without, maybe.
Yeah, even without, I think you can. At least a lower one.
Oracle is a hero that TNC has been picking a lot, and most of the times they've been picking it with Sven, so it's not like other teams who usually picks it as a counter to Batrider or the Beastmaster ultimate. They pick it with a carry that's a melee carry that really wants to run around and people, so they like using the ultimate more in a way to make sure that their carry can hit people.
There's that Furion again.
I'm not so sure if I like Sven here though, because they have Void. It's
Yeah.
okay, I guess, to burst him down, but
Oracle pick is weird for me. Generally, we see Oracle, he matches up pretty well. We've seen Alchemist, even Huskar back in the day, and there's an Ancient Apparition in the first two. And of course, Oracle can make his teammates magic immune, so they don't have to deal with that Ancient Apparition blast, but they also can't heal during that.
I think a lot of teams like it versus the Kunkka as a X.
Oh, it's really great against Kunkka.
It's great against the initiation,
You make your teammate totally immune to whatever's happening to him.
but not so great perhaps versus the other. Nature's Prophet not picked very often versus Batrider. I think Nature's Prophet struggles to get a lot of farm when there's a Bat in the game.
Just because the Bat Rider can pounce in and lasso him back when he's a push.
It was pretty terrifying back when Flame Break also canceled TPs. It's still a problem.
Also, once you finally get a hold of that Furion, he doesn't really have a lot of great tools to escape. He's a very immobile hero. So if the Bat Rider gets on top of him with the Firefly, he's most likely going to go down.
And, I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to how to think of Oracle, because he's one of those heroes where you read the abilities, and it's hard to even know how the hell he operates, let alone what his function is in the team.
He's a very defensive support. He's there to stand behind his teammates and make sure just protect everybody, whether it's through his ultimate or through his match community spell.
10
Which
seconds remaining.
is Oracle not one of my specialties.
Face edict. He's also very offensive too, surprisingly.
He can be, yeah.
he
In the
can
hands
do
of the
like-
right player.
I think it's one of the hardest supports to play because it's a really fine line between saving an opponent and
why I don't play him.
killing him, and to save an ally or kill your ally as well. So it's super hard to know exactly when to use the spells.
So when the sinking pick, it pushes Naga to position 1. I don't know, you don't like it that
Oh,
much?
you think so?
NC's turn
I think
to
so.
bat.
I mean,
Could be.
Well, at this point, all four of these can operate as supports, and
Yeah.
it seems like Naga Siren is one of the few that can operate also as a long-term core.
I think it has to be a 1 here.
Naga Core. I do like Naga Core against. I like Naga Core against Void, but I'm just concerned that I generally like the support Naga because he's focused on one thing, which is casting sleep during that Chronosphere. Oftentimes when you're playing a core Naga, you want to be in there fighting, so he's very susceptible to actually being in that Chronosphere himself.
I think also it leaves him vulnerable to getting pushed down
10
early.
seconds
Even
remaining.
though they have a Faceless Void, they can easily push it. I don't know, just push with it with an early Vlad's, a change of the builds that we've commonly seen.
It's not really the best here with Oracle as well. I would say, like, it's not
Yeah, it
that
doesn't.
you will ult in the Naga and then he will like run in and just
Yeah, it's not that it's
not
bad.
hit
There's
them.
just not a lot of synergy.
Yeah.
Sand King, however, picked again for TNC. This is a hero that they matched up last game versus Nature's Prophet, and Sam H had a really great early game, had a huge impact throughout the entire game.
Probably won't see an aggro tag this game though with a Naga and Oracle, I guess. They could though against the Void,
Yeah, Naga's a
one
pretty solid aggro trial interaction.
sure.
And at this point, we also see the Huskar and Alchemist banned out. Huskar.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Here it
Oh
comes.
my goodness, Broodmother. So this has got to be Naga Siren in the safe lane and Broodmother in the mid lane. So there's going to be just a lot of pushing from TNC to give space to Naga until Naga can come
I
online.
will probably aggro try, as we spoke a little bit about with the Naga against the Void, because they again have the Sanking against the Nature's Prophet, which really worked well the last game.
So is it going to be support Bat or support?
Oh, that's
Sank.
Oracle sinking, I think.
Oracle Sanking
okay.
supports
So then maybe
Naga mid, perhaps.
Well, they have to come up with a superhero really quickly that can deal
Yeah.
with Broodmother. The
Yeah.
old counter was Bristleback.
Axe,
Sounds like a superhero.
Tidehunter.
Well, we've seen Broodmother played in mid lane from Matumba Man previously in the tournament and just stomped almost every matchup.
I like Tidehunter, man. I'm not a big fan of Tidehunter at all, but it could work. Alright, Bristleback.
Bristleback.
He lanes really well.
I guess the Brood can go offline as well, yeah, because the Void is very bad against it. Cuckoo is taking it though, so it's gonna be mid, right?
Yeah.
Wow, and super mid on Bristleback. An interesting lineup. Very excited to see Naga Siren that is traditionally played in support in this tournament, taking the position 1. Casters, take us to game 2.
Thank you very much, Day9. And what a setup we have here for this game 2. We had an incredible game 1 for game 2. TNC switching things up a little bit. We're having a core Naga come out.
Yeah.
And this final pick, the Broodmother, it is instantly responded to by the Bristle that Peter mentioned, does have its strengths. What are we thinking overall?
I was just confused when I'm watching TNC draft just because how many curveballs they're throwing in, but they did address a lot of the aspects here. The Oracle pick versus the Kunkka is amazing. Probably one of the best. You counteract literally everything that comes out there. They get the Sand King matchup versus the Nature's Prophet as well, and then they get their Broodmother pick. But now it's Broodmother versus Bristle. It's a bit different. I'm not too crazy about TNC's draft overall.
Okay.
I think they're going to struggle a lot to really take any fights versus LFY. And I've seen Inflame on this Nature's Prophet over and over again,
Yes.
what he can actually do, how much he can dismantle lanes. So I'm personally liking what LFY's got and how much they can actually team fight with, and the fact that they actually have like physical damage to force it. Only physical damage from TNC at all, really, is the Broodmother to push those builds.
I mean, as I said, you know, mentioning that mid lane and mentioning this Broodmother, how bad is it for Cuckoo that there's a Bristle there? I mean, is Cuckoo still going to do fine in lane, or could he get totally beaten out of the lane in this matchup?
It's a hard lane. It's a really good matchup for Bristleback. You always farm. They both kind of trade farm versus each other, but you have to watch your position of the quills. And Broodmother, ideally, you want to be able to have kill potential on the enemy mid laner, and you just don't versus Bristle, unless you have like some rotations coming.
Well, we'll see how TNC react to this, whether they want to send an extra bit of help towards that mid lane, or if they do sort of go for the lane swap. But I feel like the lane swap's very unlikely, really, with Cuckoo already on that Brood, already heading towards the mid.
So also for the panel, because they were talking about this interaction between Kunkka and Sleep. The Sleep goes from 1,000 to 1,200 to 1,400, I believe it is, when I was looking at it before. And the X is only 1,000. So if you get an Aether Lens, you can actually X through 2 levels of it. But it's
very much on the edge as
borderline
well.
on the edge of the level 2 one. So it can happen, but that's about it.
Let's see what we have going on here. See if we have any sort of early smokes and rotations during this rune spawning, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It's both sides seemingly securing their own. It is, by the looks of it, going to be that laning that Ake sort of mentioned on the panel, the aggressive tri-lane from TNC. They've sent Raven down towards the bottom lane.
And they're putting the Bat mid versus the Bristle and putting Nature's Prophet, or the Broodmother versus the Nature's Prophet. That's a little bit better overall. Brood will at least have a very good matchup here, and I don't think that LFY is going to expect this one coming out. They see them that mid, and now they see the Bat.
Okay, they made the move. We'll see how LFY do respond.
Bristle can do fine in this too, though. You just get a magic stick brought out, and you can farm perfectly fine. Both of them probably will do exactly that, bring out wands, and we'll have some trade farm. Super just has to watch how many sticky stacks early on until he gets a couple points in that Bristle back, so he doesn't have to worry about the dive.
Yeah, so all in all, with this switch around towards the mid and the top and having this aggro try, it certainly feels like this is TNC getting the lanes that they want coming into this matchup.
Yeah, I'd say TNC win the lanes a little bit here, just because that, aggro. And Kunkka, AA, not really the best heroes in a try versus try, unless they can find people on the sides. Once they get some levels, sure, they're super strong, but they need that for certain. Once they have the Chilling Touch, once they have Cold Feet combo with X, then they have high kill threat. So if TNC can punish the first 2 waves, it's perfect, but once it gets, first 2 levels, it's perfect, but afterwards, they have to be super careful of their positioning versus this Kunkka and AA. Lots of damage coming out from the AA Chilling Touch. Yeah,
and a stray torrent setting up for the Cold Feet to kick in could certainly result in a kill. First try there onto Arfu. Able to set up with the root and the hole coming through from 1437.
Exactly
They bring this man down really low. Arfu tries to throw the torrent to block it, but Raven jukes it out, going in for the kill.
Oh, they get the first blood on Monet.
LFY, yeah, he gets it first.
That's what they need to do, though. TNC needs to try to make that blow happen right at level 1, but
that must have been fractions of a second that the Monet got that in time. But he did indeed that extra 100 or so bonus down to the first blood. Very much welcomed here on this safe lane for LFY.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm pretty in fear of TNC keeping that tri-lane down there now, to be quite honest with you. If they expended a lot of their resources, they used a lot of regen, they used a lot of their mana as well, and if they're playing into a first blooded, a Void who just got first blood, so he gets that surge of gold, he's able to pick up his wand, or pick up his stick, and he already has 6 stick charges. going to be very hard to threaten this Void. They can kill the supports, but actually contesting the Void's farm is very difficult for them.
Yeah, looking at the other lanes as well, we have a slight edge in the mid lane here for Sam H. But I don't think it, I guess it's about a 5-6, about a wave or such ahead of the Bristleback. So making use of this slightly favored advantage, but as you say, the wand is out onto Super, has 10 stick charges. Very unlikely for this Bristle to die in this matchup, just to be kept a little behind when it comes to CS. And on the top lane as well, Inflame, slight edge for him as well. We saw them fighting around with sentries down and such, but the quicker D ward was out from Cuckoo.
The nice thing is you can always just TP out because there's no stun from the Broodmother, but Brood can overwhelm at one point with too many Spiderlings, and you have to play pretty fearful on the Nature's Prophet. I don't really see this matchup happen too often. It's been a very long time since I see a Nature's Prophet versus Brood.
Bottom lane again. Brood down to Arfu, just holding him at bay though. Trying to bring Monet down low. Does still have the salve, 8 stick charges still being saved up on the Void. So very hard really for any of the games, any of the lanes to get the kills early on. As everyone has potential to turn, potential to hit back.
I'd say after the first blood, LFY is leading quite a decent margin. They're not really slowing down the Void, which is what they're trying for.
There we go again. They are going to make the jump in onto DDC, getting nuked down low by the Purifying Flames. Raven picks up the kill. Monet has jumped forward. He's looking for 1437. A bash would do it. Doing a time walk under the tower will secure the finisher. Raven punished this. It doesn't look like Ian will have to let it go. So again, just the one trade.
Flame TP's in though, and they're actually making the lane adjustment. They don't feel like Bristle wants to be versus the Bat at this point. They want to put the Fury on mid, perhaps, or Nature's Prophet mid. I'm going to say Fury a lot, just putting that out there.
Super up towards the top lane. And this is going to mean no space for Sam. But actually Cuckoo...
They're moving the lanes.
Yeah, they're moving it in response. TNC wanting to make sure that they can keep tabs on Super's Bristle by having the Bat against him rather than this Broodmother. See what the call is from LFY if they want to make the move again. But TNC just doing their best to keep a step ahead in terms of the lane matchups.
I love when these kind of lane swaps happen. I hope another one happens. I like when we just see people like TPing back and forth and everyone's like following around. It just looks fun.
It becomes very chaotic between the sides.
Yeah.
Farm for both of the safe laners, Raven.
He's still farming in the Nile at least.
Him and Monet on the same track at the moment. Pretty much equal in experience and CS. Both getting what they came for down in this bottom lane, which maybe is not as good of a sign for TNC. Perhaps they were expecting to be able to slow down this Void a little bit more than they are. But at the moment, as it has been, Monet, he's got himself involved in 2 kills.
Yeah, he's got Treads or Venom. He's perfectly fine. What's going on here? They're making a committed play onto here, but Inflame is teeping into the back for TNC.
Yeah, they're going to look to try and turn it. LFY Sprout out, but immediately
the blocks.
Trying to make that cold feet proc, but can't quite get enough of the blocks off. But we saw how close it was there. If they are able to achieve that sort of a play.
And how much damage comes out. Like as soon as Inflame TPs, you see DDC throws the Chilling Touch on him for that bonus damage. So now it's 5 minutes in. If Inflame wants to, he can try to siege a bit with this Catapult Wave, but he doesn't want to split the 4-way experience. Wants to be efficient with his resources.
And they move Cuckoo down here as well. Wherever the pressure is, they try and get the Broodmother in that lane to sort of slow it down.
They might be able to get Super here mid. He's pretty far out, and they have Lasso on Sam H.
Yeah, they've certainly got the reposition. He's already got 2 stacks upon him. There's the drag back. At the same time, Cuckoo actually gets a solo kill by the looks of it down on the Kunkka as well. Gets the action done, so kill in the mid lane, a freebie for Cuckoo down bottom. I'm not quite sure how he got away with that, but still with the AA and the Void in the neighborhood, but must have just overwhelmed him with the spiders, as you talked about.
They don't really have good ways to deal with the Brood besides the Bristle still at this point. Early levels, these Spiderlings, AA and Kunkka are super susceptible to dying to them just if they step out of position. And now he's level 6, so the spiders are starting to add up and the damage is pretty absurd versus these low armor heroes with the AA.
Sam H just on the search to see if there's any sort of stacks being created for LFY. He'll get his eyes onto DDC though, and in fact with the Raven Naga being in the neighborhood, they can go for this one. Money's going to try and come in to slow them down. The Torrent will connect.
With the Nature's Prophet ult.
And that's going to bring him down. Then the Nature's Wrap doing huge amounts. DDC actually ends up surviving as he gets himself away. They'll try and trap Raven with the Sprout, but he cuts himself out. So nice turnaround there from LFY. And again, Cuckoo says, you want to go to that lane, I'll come to that lane as well. This spooky spider trying to do his best to instill himself in the nightmares of LFY.
Perfect by Inflame though, like that's why we see him decide not to go for that tower pressure, right? He goes to the jungle so he can make sure he gets that level 6 at a very early time to get involved with that Wrath of Nature. The damage on it early on, it's very unexpected. People always forget about that Nature's Prophet ultimate bouncing around right around that 7-minute or 6-minute period. Tims, they've pretty much parked him now toward that top lane for the time being to farm, while everybody else is kind of making the moves around the map. Alfu wants to punish though. The Dust is online with the sentries, gets the Torrent connection too.
Does still have the Burrow Strike. As long as he can save it until after the X-Mark bring back, he may have a chance here. Holds onto it, there he goes.
He's TPing out.
And he should make it. No way without the Torrent and the X-Mark to hold him back. So nice little play there to get Tims out of it.
But they force him completely out of the lane, and that lead gives Inflame a completely free one. And yeah, Sanking's not farming during that.
And Cuckoo's moving again. I mean, he made the move all the way towards the mid lane. Now he's back down towards the bottom. He's going to look to put some pressure on Monet. Has still got a fair amount of spiders.
It's scary. Like, honestly, Cuckoo's making a lot of moves around. He can get a kill and stuff, but his net worth is starting to suffer because of how much he has to move around. It's only 2,800 net worth. Of course, it's the same as the Nature's Prophet, but this was the last pick Brood. You know, this is supposed to be like last pick Brood. This is the game winner, and it's not really having that effect so far in the laning phase.
Top lane. Tims back towards farming up that blink. We are going to see the setup there by the Torrent.
They've got Wrath of Nature this time, and they know the TP is still on cooldown for
Still
Tims.
a tricky one to catch.
Yeah.
Alfu, he did have the X-Mark, but of course wouldn't have the secondary Torrent to combo it with.
Scared to dive. Diving under towers, their damage isn't really that great, so they got to just wait it out, find a better opportunity for that one. But yeah, LFY, going out of the laning phase, their team fight is way stronger than TNC. TNC wants to split up the map and get pickoffs, and have the Broodmother kind of dominate the lane while the rest of them fight elsewhere, and use the Naga Sleep to avoid those fights. But it's very hard for them to avoid fights with the momentum that LFY will be gaining once they've got the Vanguard on the Bristle to force buildings.
Sam H, just seeing what he can do here, has found himself a double stack.
Oh, convenient. Prowlers.
Clear it up. I mean, this is going to put him very close to that Blink Dagger. 1,600 at the moment. It's going to give them large camp as well by the looks of it.
The Dream Creeps, the Ancient Prowlers, are so amazing for Batrider and like Shadow Fiend, like these heroes that farm with magic damage. And getting an Arcane Rune, he's going to have Firefly up again in no time. He'll be able to continue that. And like you said, yeah, Blink going to be at a very good time. So they can maybe play around that one and try to get some pickoffs onto the Nature's Prophet or the Void. The Bristle's starting to get pretty tanky though. Once he gets
up top, looking
Vanguard.
to set up, does get the X-Mark into the Torrent, onto Tims. He will go for the Sandstorm, but the Dust is out. Presence of Inflame and DDC. And more than enough damage there with the Chilling Touch to claim Tim's life.
Monet just wants to have no business with a Broodmother. Moves out of that bottom lane. It's starting to become overwhelming with the amount of spiders. And Kuko's going to be able to pressure that tower quite a lot. He's actually going to kill this bottom tower super quickly with that Brood. And now maybe they try to make a move with the Chrono, but they want to instead do their own pressure at the same time. How's our levels looking on supports? We're 4 and 4 on Oracle and Kunkka, and Sanking AA are both level 5. They're doing, as expected, the Tome is now online for the 10-minute mark for those 6s.
Super trying to farm out some of the spiders here, but don't quite get the finishing Quill Spray Splurt to do so. Boom alive, mid lane, Monet. Manning up to 1437, not quite finding the bashes though. Does have this Chrono. He sees a chance to finish off a kill. And in playing with drums, definitely a pickup that can help enable the Void. You know, get that Chrono, get the Natures in, pop the drums charge.
It's just such a good item on Nature's Prophet.
Yeah. In fact, making a bit of a try here, but
actually forced the
going to
Chrono
turn.
out.
And with the disarm, can they actually keep Cuckoo alive? Looks like they can. Very nicely done. The Chrono baited out, and TNC lose nothing.
2 minutes, no Chrono. But what can they make of it? They have to use the Batrider Lasso. He's going to have Blink Dagger soon. They can try to make a play around that one.
Super trying to keep control of Sam H down this bottom lane. Super still at the top of the net worth. Now moving in, Sam H does need help. In fact, Super's going to be the one that gets out. Inflame TP's in. Firefly is not enough to get Sam H out of there. Can TNC punish LFY for diving this deep? That's the question.
Bristle's very tanky.
He's with this Vanguard and with this Cloak. He's not an easy takedown, and he's got the presence of Arfu. They're making their way back out. 1437's there, but LFY, they have the numbers. They're just going to look towards the Oracle, try and make a go. He has got the Shrine Heal. Raven coming in with the sleep. But TNC, can they really actually
do this?
They've got to sleep and get out. They cannot fight LFY around this Bristle, around this point. Indeed, they just have to leave it be, and if anything, potentially let LFY take this tower. They've got Sam H coming back in. Was if they can do anything about this, get some sort of a grab. They have the route onto the Bristle. He's the hardest target to go on. They are going to try and make
They've got the X.
as they drag back, but indeed, Arfu breaks it with the X, meaning the Tim's Epicenter not quite in range. Now they get back in, but
The
Tim,
Quills, oh
he's
no.
gonna pop. This is Bristleback getting to his full potential. The false promise.
Beautiful, but
Very nicely done by 1437, and with the heal, that should be enough to keep Tim's alive. Very clutch save there from the Oracle. And they do bring down Super, that big old kill. That's given the money for Sam to finish off the Blink Dagger. Very nicely done there.
defending that tower too, at early tier 1.
Maybe see if they can get anything straight off the back of it. Looking towards Arfu, but see. Oh, DDC got a bit of a spider problem.
Oh, the Centaur stun hits Cuckoo. Trying to help out DDC.
Tim's there as well. Maybe they could look to try and catching out Mono in the mid lane. He is in the webs.
They have a lot of burst.
They are going to try and close it in. At the same time, bottom lane Sama, he did get the kill on Arfu, so they get the kill top. They get the pick off bottom. Now Super sort of on his own here. He's stuck in the Firefly. Same time, a lot of Quill spray stacks building up onto the members of TNC, so they have to be careful. Raven will hold back the Bristle with the net. And he will continue to be chased. I mean, Super knows that there's no shrine here, as it's already been used. He's going to dive in for this one.
He's straight committing. In Flame's still not TPing in,
3
though.
Quill spray stacks on Raven. I don't know, can 1437 save this? He hasn't quite got false promise, I don't think. He's got the Fate Edict of the Purifying Flames, trying to heal him back up. And maybe Super's now overstepped the mark. He gets flame broken back. Stick charges are used, Purifying Flames, you can him down low, but 1437 didn't quite have the mana to purge it back off, so Super's only going to get healed up from this. Cuckoo coming in with the rotation, the boat in onto the Spiders is not going to connect. Monet does find the Chrono onto Cuckoo, the bash there as well. They'll bring down Brood as well.
Those are huge kills there. Super just with
And
no
up.
fear whatsoever. He knows his team is going to be coming for the backup eventually, and this is the problem we're talking about. This Bristleback with the Vanguard, he's building toward the hood as well to deal with that heavy magic damage that TNC does have. And then after that, there is really limited chances for him to be able to kill this Bristle.
Yeah, the damage certainly lacking from TNC at this stage of the game, in comparison to what you need to have a chance of bringing down a Bristle. On the side, Tim's playing around with DDC. LFY relatively low. DDC may just get taken down here, in fact. He's going to probe back an Ice Blast. But
Oh, the Sun actually goes up the mark.
He misses the Burrow Strike, and for that, Tim's is paying with his life. The cold feet kicks in. DDC's the one to take the kill.
And they want to keep going.
They're looking for the blind torrent, won't quite get it. Jump forward for Samich with the lasso into the Purifying Flames. They get Arfu in return. But now, Super, he's got a hook complete. This Bristle is going to be a massive issue, especially considering the way that LFY are playing, grouping up as a team, or even just, letting Super enter the fight, hang around for 10 seconds, waiting for the backup. There's just very little chance that TNC can actually kill Super at this stage of the game.
They're trying to make, they're trying to fight and make space as much as possible for Raven. He is getting closer and closer toward that Radiance, 3,400 gold. So that's going to help a bit, but he's still very squishy and they're still very susceptible to the team fight of LFY.
Seeing the build as well from Cuckoo this game is he's going to phase straight into the Solar Crest rush.
That's the build we saw Matu doing, yeah. Just the sheer damage that you can do with the Spiderlings. You can not only increase your farm rate, it gives you mana regen, it's just a really good item choice.
Absolutely. If he gets himself on either Arfu or DDC, very little they can do to keep him alive. I mean, we're going to see him make a bit of a go now. Just ready with the Medallion and the Spiders, bringing Arfu down very quickly.
Reluctant to commit, though.
Yeah, a little scared about fighting around this tier 1 tower towards the mid lane. At the moment, members of LFY closer towards that top tier 2. Trying to see if they can get the push on there, Monet. So the timing is going to be on the Chrono. Yes, back
just
up in 3 seconds. So they want to try and do something with this Faceless Void. As the Mask of Madness, the build from him by the looks of it, going to be straight into the Maelstrom. And then the Lincoln Sphere. And they'll go for this here. Pushing in on the top lane. Again, another very tricky hold for TNC to even try and attempt against this Chronosphere. So by the looks of it, they will just let it go. But this is KeyArena. LFY 16 minutes in, really getting some traction, taking these objectives. And TNC not finding towers in return. Definitely the biggest trade-off being the fact they gain farm.
Oh, they actually...
For the Naga. Now, yeah, Arfu whipping the combo there. Looks like he went for the blind torrent boat. Didn't quite have the X mark back up to make the play in terms of control. But yeah, this is the thing. TNC all in all, the trade is that they are getting this farm on Raven. He has got that relic. He's halfway through the recipe gold. They're going to make an attempt on Super, but I don't know if they get away with this. They're going in with the extra. They cannot kill this man. Backup is there now in the form of Arfu in Flame, and they're just going to look to turn. The dust is out onto Tim's. He's sprouted up. can't get himself out of this one. He's got the Power Strike. Super continue to move forward. A couple of Quill Sprays will do it. No, just the one actually. Super bursts him down.
That's their lasso and their epicenter committal to. That's their big team fight slash pickoff heroes, and they barely even drop him below half-life with
Definitely
that hook
definitely a mistake for TNC to try and make that play. They can't afford to do that, especially that close to a tier 2 tower.
And making these mistakes is super crucial. Like, these mistakes is what costs you the game. Where Nature's Prophet's able to claim a tier 2, the Void is just farming in all the meanwhile, and they need to get kills in with those type of double ult committals. Super now, looking for Sam H, actually forces him just to TP out bottom.
Cuckoo again, moves on to Monet.
And you see the itemization coming out from LFY.
Oh, Monet just goes for them, jumps in. Absolutely no messing around, and with the Ice Blast coming through as well as the big old shark, there's no hope for Cuckoo. And TNC may be losing their cool a little bit here as LFY are getting some very easy pickoffs.
Still only a slight lead for them, but it's still LFY is looking really strong with their 5-man.
There is that radiance though. So it's all about how much TNC can rely on the core Naga Siren to pull them through this game.
Bottom lane looks like they're going for Sam H here. With the Wrath of Nature, the X-Play coming out, Sam H is in deep trouble here.
Again, this combo from Arfu.
And it's going to lead into a tower as well.
Maybe even more with Inflame in the neighborhood.
Yeah, maybe they go for 2 here. They could. There is a sleep that is still up though, so maybe they're a little bit afraid of that because they don't have Chrono.
Dire's middle tower.
But they want to at least threaten a bit for some reaction.
Link Dagger now picked up by Tims, so they do have that extra potential to jump in and maybe even jump around Super, get to the back lines. As Super at the moment is not the target you want to be going on.
Well, look how far back they are. They're already prepared. The Illusion is kind of scouting out the AA, so they're trying to commit here for it. Maybe they can force all the TPs and try to isolate Super, but no, it's getting too far away at this point now. So yeah, look how the 3 cores on the side of LFY, they're all itemizing toward being these late game kind of carry heroes. We see Nature's Prophet went for the Shadow Blade, going for the Orchid. We see the Void. We already mentioned that one. Mask of Madness into Linken's Maelstrom. He's the one Void, of course. And then we see Super. Got the Radiance queued up. That's going to be the big one to kind of match.
Top lane, they do manage to find one, and they have the epicenter on the lasso, but he's still going to get the chance to try and walk out.
That's twice now the lasso on epicenter.
It's not enough to take down TNC's cores. It really isn't.
Or Alphawise, yeah.
It's going to be spotted out. They've got the X-Mark trap back. Actually,
it doesn't miss. It doesn't hit again.
The timing there. Not quite there with the combo this time around, Arfu, and that is going to mean that Cuckoo gets away with his life intact. Did have 1437 in the neighborhood, so maybe even if they got the trap, he would have been there with a false promise save, but still.
Rare mistakes coming out from both Afu and from Tims this game.
How's Super doing towards his relic? Very close.
Very close.
Very close to having that done on this Bristle as well.
3k gold lead now going their way.
Definitely still with the edge of this game, and definitely still the issue being that we're seeing Super and Monet being attempted upon with these ganks, these takedowns, but
unable to get killed. That's pre-Lincoln.
Can't quite do it.
That's pre-Lincoln's Void, and they can't even bring him down. When he's got Lincoln's, I don't see how they actually get him unless they've got like 3 or 4 hero committal.
Radiant are scanning.
Really is the problem here for TNC. They need time, they need space for Raven.
LFY seems very content with this pace of the game too. They're not trying to like force too much action. Even when Chrono is up, they're not really trying to force anything to happen. They're just like, let it come to us. Let the kills naturally happen when TNC tries to go on the aggressive. Look where Monet's just been perched up. I think he's been up here for the last like 4 minutes just farming these creep waves and this enemy jungle.
I mean, yeah, this is crazy farm for him. 21 minutes, he nearly has that Lincoln's on top of the Mask of Madness. And as you said, with that as well, how do TNC even think about bringing down this Void?
They spot. They look like they know where Cuckoo is. They actually get the dust on him too. And the Blind Torrent.
Blind Torrent does connect this time round. The boat flying in with the X-Mark bring back. There's no escape for the Spider. LFY.
Apu's just warming up.
Plays like that. Definitely impressing. Top lane TNC. They are going to try for this. I mean, do they get away with it? I feel it's going to be hard. He drops the Chrono.
It actually gets the bat.
It does indeed. It stops the Bat Rider on the very tip of it. And I mean, it's enough to hold the back. But Monet turns. He time walked in aggressively there.
The Kunkka Torrent actually.
Oh,
they actually get the courier from Inflame again, just like last game. So they actually cool thing that LFY did is, they're playing versus a Broodmother, so they actually defensively warded their high ground. I didn't really notice that one too.
I mean, look at this. Monet is just forcing this 3-man gank that came in for him all the way back to their base.
No fear.
Even without Chrono, just time walking towards them, terrifying TNC.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Radiant's pretty much there for Super. 300 gold, and he has it. A lot of catching up that TNC need to do. Raven nearly has the bots, but...
How do they kill this Bristle? How do they kill the Void? Both these two guys are super durable now, and they have the exact things that they need to deal with TNC's aggression. And with that Radiance, that's going to be their timing. Maybe they can just go into the Roche pit with that from LFY, with the Chronosphere once it's back up.
TNC trying to make a move again towards this mid lane. Inflame has a double damage as well. Just a few seconds left on it though. Doesn't look like he will get the chance to make use of it. TNC not quite jumping in. But Inflame up top, wow, sees Raven. Raven, really quick to get himself out of the tree line.
Damage with the instant TP and the sleep coming out.
I'm going to look to try and punish Inflame.
Do they have reveal though? He's got a Shadow Blade. I don't think they have reveal. He's gone.
Oh dear, oh dear. LFY.
But they seem to kind of know he's here. Okay, good. Gets the TP out. Bit scary, but not having Dust, not having either of those heroes with the reveal picked up there.
Not feeling like the TNC that we saw in game 1.
No, definitely not. And he's had the Shadow Blade for quite a long time, so.
Maybe it's the draft, maybe it's just the flow of the game. I mean, LFY themselves, this decision to have Super on the Bristle has definitely worked out massively. Monet up top.
They know Raven's got no sleep top
get
too.
this Chrono there with the Sprout cut down. That should buy time for Monet to close the gap, and indeed drops the Chrono. Ice Blast coming in. They do have a false promise. Do they have the heal to offset it though? He's still going to have that debuff on him, so he can't quite heal all the way up. We'll see if he pops. I think he may be saved, yeah, with a Fate's Edict blocking the magic damage. Raven will be kept alive. So they do manage to protect their Naga, which is, TNC have to do everything in their power to make sure that Raven doesn't get bullied now, as he really is their only hope of having this strong core that can take them to the later portions of the game.
Looking for the Torrent again. He gets the dust off now, and Puku looks to be in a lot of trouble.
The X-Mark into the boat. LFY, Monet, Super, Inflame surrounding the Spider, taking another down. 5k gold lead now for LFY.
TNC are smoked up. They were looking to try to get on the aggressive play here instantly when the Chrono was down, but just slightly too late. They're trying to position now around Raven, but in goes LFY into that Roche pit, and there is no way that TNC can contest this one. They are drawing the lines though, but it's going to die way too fast.
It's a completed Orchid on Inflame as well. And indeed, the Roshan's going to be gone. LFY claim the Aegis into the hands of Super. I mean, we've already seen how they struggled to kill him once. Killing him twice, definitely an impossible affair that TNC are going to be forced to try and tackle somehow once LFY start pushing down the lanes.
LFY plays super well around the Nature's Prophet. Just the way that he split pushes and always helps them like take fights on their own accord. It's amazing. Like they always have two lanes pretty much pushed in, even though TNC does have good ways to kind of react for it. They have good heroes to kind of force the lanes out with the Naga and with the Sanking, but every time Sanking shows, they know that the gank's not happening, and then Inflame just goes back top and just continues that push up. So it's really hard for TNC to find those opportunities. And also, they can't group up either because of the nature of their lineup. They have a Broodmother, they have a Naga Siren. They can't team fight versus LFY. They need to find number advantages in those instances.
Yeah, I'm making this long smoke movement up towards the top lane, trying to catch off Inflame. So if they get away with this, I mean, he's still got the Shadow Blade. Of course, can still TP his way out. They are getting close. Inflame is sticking around.
They've got reveal
they
this
have
time.
got the reveal this time indeed. Jump forward with the dust, lasso. They'll hold him back. That's a very, very much needed kill here for TNC as they finally catch out the Nature's Prophet.
Heavy committal though. They commit 3 heroes up there with the smoke, and in the meanwhile, Bristleback's farming bottom, Void's farming mid. And speaking of which, LFY are also smoked up, looking for a play. We do have the Aether Lens as well picked up on Afu, so he does have that extra cast range for his spells. So he can cast the Torrent and the X. The Torrent, you can actually cancel majority of the...
Oh, Cuckoo, he is going to walk into the 3 of them there. He does do have the detection, they dust him up, and with the freeze connect, they will come with the burrow strike, but indeed the Lincoln Sphere blocking the burrow strike. Monet will survive and still be able to get the kill.
They're
Now
gonna lose a second.
towards Tims. Tims saved there just in time by the false promise. 1437 trying to allow Tims to get out of there, but 1437 will pay with his life. Tims up to the high ground with the burrow strike.
Oh,
will
20 HP.
just survive.
Can't believe he survived there.
1437 making some very big plays. They do still have Chrono on Monet though. This is LFY killing 2, forcing these ultimates out, and still having potential to move in for more. Straight down to the bottom lane, they'll claim the tier 2.
He held the chrono, that's the important thing, the whole time. When they did have it,
Still got it. If they find a chance to use it, I mean, still not too many reasons for LFY to hold back too much with this sort of pace that they're setting. Even still working his way towards the Manta style. I mean, all things said, you know, considering the pressure that LFY put on, Raven's still doing a great job in terms of finding the farm. You know, it's up there, we're pretty much on par with the cause, other than Super, who really is starting to break ahead, of course, with his own ratings. But Raven, he's not getting totally shut down.
the thing is that ideally when you're playing like this, oh, they actually are able to find 1437 out of the base.
Oh, there's any saving here. Monet's there. If anyone comes in with backup, he's got the chrono to spare, and he doesn't need it yet again. Just finding these pickoffs.
Such far range for them to find that catch with that Aether Lens Kunkka.
Still with that Aegis, they very well maybe looking to go to Tiger again. Another catch from Arfu. X-Mark onto Sam. Just managed to force himself away from the Ice Blast.
Super doesn't care.
Diving in deep.
And the chrono.
Drops the chrono onto Raven. They've caught the Naga. Burst Strike comes in from Tims, trying to hold them back, but Raven's down
and
for
Tim's
50
now
seconds.
too.
Diving in deep. Raven will buy back, but TNC losing hero after hero. Cuckoo comes in with his BKB. Trying to see if he can bring anyone down in return. 1437 is on his way back, but they're sticking around. They are getting rather low, Arfu and Super. Arfu turns straight towards the Oracle, cuts him down with his blade. Sleeps there from Raven. But of course, Super still has that Aegis. He may be low, but there's, well, looks of it, no chance they can even kill him down. Cuckoo's just turned upon.
That might just be it here.
TNC losing 4, none of them with buyback available. We'll see if they hold on here for one more attempt. They are fairly short death timers.
They're just too incredibly durable, and the catch range from Afu is just way too far. They're able to chase always, and with this frontline Bristleback who just doesn't care because he has the lifesteal as well as Radiance, Hood, Vanguard. They're able to just siege. First rack's down, going for the secondary one. 30 seconds until Broodmother.
Oh, look at this. Afu goes back to base. Is the Mango delivery service he's picked up to. Has he got them still in his stash? I definitely saw him pick up a couple.
He used them right away to be.
Oh, he used them himself. Okay, no mangoes for anyone else. Just for him. But yeah, keeping himself topped up immediately, making sure they can stick around to finish the game. Ice Blast looking to connect onto Raven, false promise a little early, but just to make sure they can save it. Tims jumps in with the Epi. They do have the control of the ball. They bring Monet down.
And Monet?
That's a big kill, but Tims will pay with his life. Cuckoo's now back up. Samage trying to find DDC, but DDC has the hood. He can't even kill the AA. They will disarm the Bristle, but the Quill Spray stats continue to build up. They have managed to find AA. Cuckoo manning up towards Inflame. Doesn't quite get him as Inflame goes for the BKB TP out, turning his attention now towards Arfu. With the Solar Crest, they do have enough damage to find the Kunkka. So TNC do get kills, but again, it's costing them so much. They lose 3 heroes themselves. They keep the bottom melee racks alive.
Naga dieback.
Yep.
But they do keep them, at least they keep the melee racks alive, but
they're still in the game, but only just. And it really is, you know, LFY definitely with the sensation that they have to just rinse and repeat that push once more and go for it.
Yeah, TNC are in the game, but by most means are quite out of it. They can try to still keep on taking the fights, try to push these 2 side lanes out, but that five man, when LFY groups up and starts that ball up, it's just no way for TNC to really respond when all their ultimates are up. Monet now, Chronosphere is going to be up when he's alive. And that was everything. That was like the perfect scenario for TNC to get that jump. It's like Monet was like a little bit low on life, they break the Lincolns, and then they get the lasso epicenter, perfect follow-up with Cuckoo in the back lines. So it's like perfect case scenarios. Now they're able to claim, LFY able to claim some shrines, reset themselves, and continue that aggression.
Oh, and Cuckoo is being hunted. Do they have the catch to get him? Dust is out upon him. He does have the BKB, will pop it straight away. No messing. Knows that he can't afford to be caught out outside the base as he'll head his way back up to the high ground. Same time up top, they've actually found Inflame, but he's immediately BKBs, TP's out.
And that was the lasso committal.
Now Samage could be in trouble. They look for the blind torrent. Samage will be able to force himself back to safety, and with the blink just out of range of the Shiva's guard, will get himself back home. You'll see, keeping everyone alive. LFY definitely ready to go down mid. They themselves with all the ultimates that they require. Chronosphere, Ice Blast, Nature's Wrath.
You see Tims and Raven are just desperate to push out those side lanes as far as
Look at
possible.
the Super is just forcing them back to the base. Raven going for the TP back to join the rest of them. Arfu is sort of spotted out here by Kuku on the side of it, but he's got to be careful. BKB not quite ready again for him. Has the spiders upon him, but LFY take the second melee Rex down on this bottom lane. And they're jumping forward. Chrono at the ready. They'll look for the courier. They do get it. No, they don't. The
Courier's alive!
Oh, the courier lives. Mono comes in with a chrono onto Kuku. Kuku is saved just in time by 1437 with a false promise. They have the song trying to get the spider out of there. And it will work for now, but it looks like 1437 is going to pay off his life. He has the Glimmer Cape, but Super's got the vision with the sentry down on the floor. Moves in, takes down the Oracle. TNC being forced back. Raven trying to hold Super away from TNC. They get the connection. Torrents there onto Tim, sanking down as well. 2 down without buyback once again on TNC.
They're going for that last Rex now.
They can get DDC. Kuku turning towards him. Solar Crest down. Imposter BKB really wants this AA kill. Will get it. It is 1 down, but at the same time, Raven going for the TP out. He's actually going to make it back to base by the looks of it. They've got the lasso onto the Kuku, but the damage is too much for Super. The Quill spray is building up. Kuku down as well. GG is cool. And it looks like LFY were only warming up in game 1. Game 2, a very, very convincing victory there for the side of LGD.Forever Young. 28-15, 33 minutes in 22k net worth lead. And with the draft and the start to this game that TNC had, there never really was any hope of them bringing it back.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. LFY had just a super strong draft to deal with what TNC had. We've seen Naga carry a few times. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. It's definitely a little bit on the weaker side. You have to have a lot